Okay, we're going to call to order. Why don't we do a roll call? Here. 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 Okay, let's all stand up and we'll do a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everybody for being here, by the way. Before I read this, I just want to wish everybody a happy and healthy holiday season. And I just want to also thank everybody that supports kind of the board, all you, Colleen and Ben and Jim's not here, but I just want to thank all of you and obviously Claire. Okay, when we have an adjournment, everybody flies out quick. So just want to make sure I had said that up front. Okay. The notice requirements of the open public meeting law for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the notice having been sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster and filed in the office of the Township Clerk. There's an emergency exit through the courtroom doors and 2 exits at the rear of the room. No smoking. No new cases will be started after 10:30 p.m. and no new testimony taken after 11 p.m. All meetings will be video and audio taped and shown on the Township of Ocean Community Cable Channel 22 on Verizon Fios, and Channel 77 on Cablevision. All cell phones must be turned off, or if you need to take a call, please make your call outside the meeting room. Sorry, I have a little cold here. We have minutes for approval from November 25th, 2024. I'd like to make a motion to have those approved.
I second. Yes.
Yes. Good thing we didn't have a split vote there. It would have been a little bit of a problem. We did receive a correspondence from 1012 Norwood Avenue, Block 11, Lot 10, application for freshwater wetlands, LOI, and transition area waiver. We have one new case tonight. I have a long thing to read here, so be patient. 1600 Holbrook LLC, Block 33.39, Lot 1, 1641 Holbrook Street, Oakhurst, New Jersey, 07755, Zone R4. The attorney is Christopher Beekman. Did I say that right? Great. The applicant is proposing a minor subdivision and to subdivide Lot 1 into 2 lots, being Lot 1.01 and Lot 1.02. Currently, Lot 1 is a corner lot that has 160 feet of frontage along Holbrook Street and 100 feet of frontage along Talmadge Avenue. Lot 1, minimum size lot, is 10,000 square foot required, 16,000 square feet existing, 9,000 feet proposed. Minimum frontage setback, 30 feet required, 24.2 feet existing, 24.2 feet is proposed. There's a minimum size yard setback, 10 feet required, 80 feet existing, 7.4 feet proposed. Minimum accessory rear yard setback, 5 feet required, 4.5 feet existing and proposed. Lot 2, minimum lot, 10,000 square feet required, 16,000 square existing, 7,000 square feet proposed. Minimum lot width, 30 feet required, 70 feet proposed. Minimum size yard setback, 10 feet required, 80 feet existing, 7.4 feet proposed. Minimum accessory rear yard setback, 5 feet required, 4.5 feet, 3 existing and proposed. So, okay, so why don't we start with maybe you can kind of, before we go to the professionals, maybe you tell us a little bit about what we're trying to accomplish here.
Sure, and good evening, everyone.
Nice.
Thanks for the introduction. Appreciate that, and thanks for having us tonight. I know it's a light agenda. So, Christopher Beekman of the Beekman Law Firm on behalf of the applicant. 1601 Holbrook LLC. I do have Mr. Sermont with me this evening as well to testify as it relates to the plans that were provided. As indicated, we're seeking minor subdivision approval with some bulk variance relief as well. So I'll have Mr. Sermont sworn in, and I'll take him through some testimony. That's all right with everyone?
Yep, sure. Would you like to swear him in, Kevin?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name.
Charles Sermont.
Okay, Mr. Smart.
Thank you.
And then just briefly, can you just give the board some of your legal background and experience as it relates to testifying before a similar
I
situation?
think we know Mr. Smart. We're going to accept him as an expert witness.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I figured as much. Just
Yeah.
wanted to-
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Unless,
Right.
of course, by the way, unless, of course, you want to boast a little bit and tell us some things, that's cool, too. I mean, it's up to you. No, why don't you go ahead?
All right. So, good evening, Mr. Sermont.
I don't like to boast.
Can you take us through the plans as it relates to the application that we have this evening?
Yeah, you did a pretty good job of introducing it. I'll try to get a little more detailed. As you had indicated, the property has 160 feet of frontage on Holbrook, 100 feet of depth, if you will, fronting on Talmadge. The existing house, it's a single-story house, favors the corner of Talmadge. We're proposing to maintain that house in its current condition with the exception of the introduction of a covered porch onto that house, which is indicated on my plan, and for which we are seeking I believe we'll be seeking setback relief of 24.2 feet for that porch. The existing house sits back at 30.2 feet, so we're looking to propose a 6-foot wide porch at the front. That house is currently served by a gravel driveway that sits on the left side of proposed lot 1.02. So we're proposing to remove that driveway and relocate it onto the south side of proposed lot 1.01, and then modify the walkway a bit to serve both the front porch and the rear entrance that runs down the right side. There is a shed on that property, as was indicated. That shed's slightly non-conforming as to location. I think we're proposing to relocate that shed so that it would meet the applicable setbacks and keep it on lot 1.01. So by introducing the lot line at 90 feet and 70 feet, the existing house will require a side yard setback variance of 7.4 feet, where 10 feet is required. The vacant lot, lot 1.02, 7,000 square feet, 70 feet wide, with the exception of the deficiency in lot area and lot width, we're proposing to maintain the required setbacks and propose a dwelling and coverage on the lot that would be compliant with the 25% building coverage and the 65% lot coverage that the R4 zone permits. This lot, I examined the tax maps and the aerials and the assessments, and this lot at 16,000 square feet is the largest residential lot between the highway and Deal Test Site, Dow Avenue, and Poplar Brook. There's one other 14,000 square foot lot, and there are a couple 12,000 square foot lots, but none as large as this. I also inventoried the area to take note of the lots in the general vicinity within, say, 500 feet of the subject property, and identified those lots that are deficient as to lot area and lot width. And I did bring a marked up tax map, if I could just share that,
Yeah,
maybe just
go ahead, yeah.
identify those
Yeah.
lots.
Okay. For the record, we'll mark that as Exhibit M, as in Mary. Mr. Sermont, can you just describe what this exhibit is that was just marked as Exhibit M?
Yeah, that's a marriage of a portion of tax map sheets 28 and 29 with the subject lot identified with a blue star and those lots within 500 feet of the subject lot that are undersized.
Those undersized lots are the ones that are highlighted.
They're highlighted in yellow.
How many are undersized, similar to the applicant?
Well, there are varying sizes. There are, I'll just real briefly go through them. Right around the corner, at the corner of Talmadge and Westfield, 710 Talmadge, 712 Talmadge, those lots are both 50 by 100. Just to the south of those two lots is a 40 by 100 lot at, I'm sorry, no, that's a 60 by 100 lot. Those two lots are 3 and 4 merged as a 60-foot lot. That's 1639 Westfield. And then just a little bit further south of that property at 1627 Westfield is a 8,000 square foot lot with 80 feet of frontage. North of Talmadge on the west side of Westfield are 4 undersized lots, 280 by 100, 280 by 100,
You mean two that are 80 by 100?
80 by 100, yeah.
Okay.
And then on Holbrook Street, a little bit north of Auth Avenue, is another 80 by 100 foot lot.
Mm-hmm.
Total, how many undersized lots did you find within this 500-foot radius?
Well, probably within about a 700-foot radius. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 lots that are undersized within about 700 feet of the subject property.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you have more that you wanted to kind of go over with this?
No, unless I missed something that
Okay.
you want to discuss.
Well, before we ask yourself some questions, I think we're probably going to ask some of the professionals to kind of weigh in on this, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay.
For me, it's very simple. From an engineering standpoint, there are really no issues. The only comments in my review letter were regarding just a little bit more detail. The limits of curb and driveway construction to be shown, and then details for that, as well as roadway restoration. And that's my only comments for this one.
Are you
We, of course, would provide that.
okay?
I think from a planning perspective, it's pretty simple also. I call this a box approval, and I think you probably heard that before. There's no plans for a home at the time, but I think if you approve this application, basically you've got a building envelope shown on your plans, correct?
Yes.
And then to comply with any approvals, they would have to build within that envelope. If they don't, they're gonna have to come back before the board for variance relief. So basically, yes, they are creating undersized lots, but by doing this, they're not bifurcating, they're not doing the subdivision, then they gotta come back and get approvals. So I think that is self-regulatory in the sense that they have to stay within a building envelope. They're entitled to come back later on, but I think for simplicity, that's what they're here for. In my letter, I do point out, I just want to ask one thing about the accessory, because we call out the accessory rear yard setback. Are you going to be moving that shed?
We're gonna relocate it.
So they're not going to need, if they relocate it, they're not going to need a variance for that, right? You're
Right.
going to move it a half a foot.
Yeah.
So I cited that, but it was a note in the plan. So if that's a condition of approval, that they'll just move the shed a half a foot, then that's one less variance. That's reducing basically a non-conforming condition. Other than that, I just would ask, most of my comments were technical. I'm sure you can comply with them. It's just making 2 and 2 add up to 4. And that's all I have for you. I think if you want to ask questions about how it benefits the area or whatever, I can chime in. But I don't think you have a planner here tonight, right?
No.
Yep.
So in essence, this is within your map there. You're showing is basically the subdivision is an older it's reflective of an older area. It kind of has you have existing lots in that size.
Yeah.
So
So why don't we take a second here and just kind of open it
Yeah.
up to
that's what I thought that would be good.
yeah. Why don't we open up to some questions by us first or the
Absolutely. I
community?
think you should go first.
I think we'll do us first, right? So any questions that we want to have for the, for Charles here? Charles Samonte, anybody?
We'll have a question from our professionals.
Or professionals, great. Yeah.
No, I don't want to go first.
You know, you can go first.
All right, Bennett. So in your report, you said that there was no concern about wetlands.
Correct.
But in the township's ERI, that section, and it's not down to the lot granular detail, but that particular section, specifically on Findern, is listed as managed wetland and maintained lawn green space.
Yeah, so this is just on the other side of the Palea Park. Is the large area in the key map to the east. So if you look on the NJDEP's GeoWeb website, you'll see like a shaded area that shows wetlands within this neighborhood. But this is a developed neighborhood. These are all houses that exist kind of within the wetlands. So I really don't have an issue with, this subdivision with respect to the wetlands. With what they're calling out on the GeoWeb, which is not an official like wetlands line. It's just kind of an area that probably 50 years ago was more wetlands before the wetlands regulations were put into effect, and it was developed, and the wetlands were essentially removed, which is not uncommon. It happens, we see this all the time throughout the state. So there's no wetlands on this site, so I'm not concerned with it.
And they didn't need to get an LOI for it?
Correct.
I could give you a little more on the wetlands in the area if I could.
Sure.
I just realized that now that my key map, I took it from the county GIS. They haven't quite caught up with current construction, but those 4 lots behind the subject property on Findern, they've all been developed in the last 10 years. The nearest bit of wetlands, you can see some vacant property just above the word Findern that backs up to the deal test site.
Mm-hmm.
That property did have some NJDEP verified wetlands on it, and that lot, when they wanted to seek a building permit, they had to jump through the freshwater wetlands hoops in order to get a general permit in order to develop that lot. But that's the only lot in the area that's been documented as having wetlands on it presently.
Okay. So we're all confident that there is no wetlands here?
Yes.
We sit up a good 10 feet from that lot.
Okay.
And I'll give you one step further. There was a soil boring done on the proposed vacant lot, and the seasonal high water table is 10 feet deep. Typically in a wetland area, you'll see it much higher than that. So, that's further kind of evidence that there is no wetlands here.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the professionals or so so just to put a finer point on this. So one of the things that I think we're always concerned about when we give variances out is how well does these structures, these houses, actually fit into the sanctity of the community, right? And so I guess I would like your opinion about how well they do fit in. I mean, I think we've all kind of spent some time in that area and looked around, so I think we know it is. But I'd like to have your opinion on how it is, or if you feel like you want to make the case for it first, you can do that.
Well, I mean, I'll try to put an approximate number on it. Probably 80 to 85% of the lot, well, probably 80% of the lots are 100 by 100. There's a couple that are a little larger, a couple 120s, maybe one 140. And as I've noted, there are some 80s and some 60s and even some 50s. So it does honestly, generally is 100 by 100 neighborhood, but there is that that little bit of diversity in size, both a little bit larger and a little bit smaller, so that, this wouldn't be deemed totally out of character with the properties in the surrounding area.
Okay.
Chad, I think the question is more along the lines of, has any thought been given to the architectural style of a proposed new building that would go there?
There was early on, we did look at some typical homes that were about, that would fit into here. We'll need a home that's only 44 feet wide to fit onto that lot, and the applicant has looked at some homes that, meets that size that he's thinking about putting on that property.
Mm-hmm.
If he decides to go forward and build on the property, should you guys approve it.
Right.
But he's quite comfortable with being able to put a home on that lot that meets the setbacks and meets the typical house size of the homes in that area.
Okay. Ron, did you have a comment about this?
Well, I think when you're looking at it and looking at context, for one, with the current home is not that large, correct?
No, it's not.
So in theory, you got a larger lot. If someone came in and bought that house, and if they bought it, and they could put up a pretty darn big house, which is like I'm going to mention. I kind of put footnotes in there. Jim has a little bit different style. On the bottom of page 8, when they first put in the C2 variance, because this really is not a hardship, because this is their. So what is the purposes of zoning? And basically, the Kaufman court said that held in part that the focus of a C2 case should be on the characteristics of the land that present an opportunity for improved zoning and planning that will benefit the community. So if you're dividing and creating a subdivided lot, well, okay, you're creating lots that are a little smaller. But you may have an opportunity here to guarantee that any development on this new lot will be in context within this block and within the particular house that's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not overwhelming. You don't hear the term McMansion anymore too much. But I mean, that's always a concern. If you can come in and just blow something out and build something that just is out of context, this may afford you, an opportunity for this particular lot, this particular location.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important when it comes to variances, that they are tied to the land itself. What's the characteristics of the land?
Yeah,
So
great.
they have an oversized lot.
Yeah.
Maybe they have an opportunity to, and also to provide additional housing at a scale that is permitted in the zone, which is single-family homes.
Yep. No, thank you for that. That is one of the things we're always kind of weighing here, what the choices are that happens if granting a variance or not granting a variance. So.
And then just for the case, where we always talk about the positive and negative criteria, the negative criteria always talks about substantial. Does it have substantial detriment to the? Does it substantially impair the zone plan? And that's your threshold. And substantial impact upon the public good.
Okay.
So
Just before we go to the public comment, is there any things that you need stipulated for them to provide, Ben, or?
Well, they agreed to address the technical comments in my review letter. I don't have a problem with that as being a condition of approval. So
Okay. Okay.
same here. Mine is just make the numbers add up.
Okay, great.
I
Did you
just have one other question for our attorney. Because I think I'm misremembering. If we approve a subdivision, then in the future they would not be able to claim a hardship variance for an undersized lot. Is that correct?
No, they wouldn't, because that would be in the category of a self-created hardship.
Okay.
And hardship wouldn't apply.
Okay. Thank you.
But I would point out, and I'm kind of getting the flavor of the comments I'm hearing from the planner and from Mr. Chairman, that you would like some ability to control the style of construction so that it fits in with the context of the neighborhood.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's in our purview to do that,
We
right?
don't have design.
We don't have a design standard, yeah.
Then
I look at the box. They stay within the box and good.
And if they don't stay within the box, they'd have to
They
get
have to
your
come back.
Yeah, actually, but we are assuming that this will have the certain flavor that this current community has. I know you can't be bound by that, but
The applicant is well enough to build it, then yes, I can guarantee that. Yes.
okay. I'm not sure what we do about that.
There's
You know,
no-
I would do best efforts. Do we say best efforts or reasonably best efforts?
Yeah, if you don't have any,
We don't have any standards. Can we say reasonably best efforts that conform?
sure.
Okay. Are you okay with? Are
That's
you okay with
fine.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, great. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions for anybody of the professionals? No. Anybody from the public like to make a comment? Come on up. Yeah, right there. Yep. I think we want to have you state your name and raise your right hand.
Both at the same time.
I think yeah, both at the same time. Yeah.
Dennis Howlett, 1638 Holbrook Street.
Okay, and do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do indeed.
And please repeat your name.
Dennis Howlett, Howlett.
And where do you reside?
1638 Holbrook Street.
Go ahead.
Okay, I obviously live in the neighborhood, and I'll start with one comment. If the builder is who I think the builder is, he's an experienced builder, builds a nice house. I've been in many of his houses, and I'd be shocked if it didn't conform to some sort of standard that would meet the approval of most of the neighborhood. So that's a good thing.
Okay.
One of the reasons I'm here today is because I got the letter, because I live within 200 feet, actually I'm right across the street, and I was trying to match this letter to what it says in the key cases thing. And there's a couple of things, I'm sure they're just typos or small errors, but I don't understand. And I like to understand what I'm reading.
Sure.
In the new cases, it talks about the minimum lot size, 10,000 square feet required, 16,000 square feet existing, which means both of the lots together, not lot two. And it says 7,00, which I think should be 7,000, not 700. And that would make more sense. And going along farther in that sentence about minimum side yard setback, 10 feet required, 80 feet existing, 7.4 feet proposed. And I'm hoping that the 7.4 feet is from the existing house, which I will call Eleanor's house, from that house, and not from the house on the other side, which is Mr. Reichert's house.
Mr. Howlett, the 7.4 feet
Yes.
refers to the distance from the existing house to
Yes.
the proposed new property line.
That's what I thought, and I wanted to make sure that's official.
Yeah, that's
Was it-
official.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. 'Cause I wouldn't like to see him lose any of his space between his house and the new house. And in the rest of that sentence, it says minimum accessory rear yard setback, 5 feet required, 4.5 feet, 3 existing. The 3 just seemed to drop out of
Yeah,
the sky.
I didn't. Yeah.
What is that?
I'm not. When I read it, I wasn't.
Well, so the accessory structure is the shed in the back.
Yeah.
It's 4.5 feet, 4.5 feet. The 3 must have been a typo.
Okay.
From the rear property line. The applicant on their plan says that and this was discussed, the shed is going to be relocated to a conforming location.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I understand that. So the 3 was probably a typo.
Yeah.
Okay, but that shed is gonna stay on lot 1. This makes it sound like it's on lot 2, here, on this side.
Now, the proposal is for the shed to continue to serve the existing house.
I realize
on
that,
lot
but it's
0.1,
under the
0.01.
description for lot 2. In this piece,
What we read out loud, what we read in the
Right.
my description. That's what he's referring to, right?
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
But just so the board members and the members of the public are clear, what was printed on the agenda is not controlling here. It's what's in the applicant's application and in the public notice. So your understanding of it coming in is correct.
Okay, that's what I like.
Great. Is anything else?
Just that I will miss the trees.
Oh, okay.
It was a heavily treed lot.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Happy holidays. Okay. Does anybody have anything they want to make a comment about, say, talk through? Anything? Okay. So at this point, if somebody could
Mr. Chair,
make,
do we want to just make a motion to close public because there's another gentleman sitting there, and I don't know if.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would assume that. Did you want to make a comment?
Honestly, I didn't have any questions or objections. I just came to offer my support and introduce myself to my neighbor.
Oh, come on, make a comment. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so yeah, come up to the mic. Come to the mic. Yep, come up to the mic.
It is clear now, I hope, that the side yard setback, the backyard setback, and the front yard setback, those three are gonna remain, they're gonna be conforming. It's just one side that's not gonna be conforming.
Actually,
Actually, I think
no.
they're
My plan?
Front yard
the
setback.
front yard is not.
Yeah, the front,
Sure, I understand it.
yeah,
Yeah.
he can explain.
The only thing we're proposing
Mhm.
is this.
You have to talk into the microphone.
Yeah, you have to. We have to.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the new house,
Oh, new house can totally conform
except for the,
to all the setbacks.
Except for the size.
Except for the
one
side.
No,
It's
no,
the existing house
Right.
needs that setback relief
Yeah.
because of where we're placing the new lot line. To give the right lot 70 feet,
Yeah,
the existing house will only be 7.4 feet off that.
oh, I
new
understand. So there'd be another 10 there. After the 7.4, go south 10 feet, that's where
line.
the
Yes,
building
the
lot would
south
start.
lot will comply with all the setbacks.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so now I'd like to close the public comment section. Can I get a second? What do I need a second
I'll
to do that?
second.
Okay. So now I think we're at the spot where can somebody make a motion that we can kind of vote on here?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah, make a motion.
Positive motion.
Okay. So you want to state, we want to make a positive motion to approve the applicant?
Make a positive motion to approve the applicants.
Can I get a second? Great, thanks, Jack.
And the motion you're voting on also, and I don't want to make your motion for you, but it's also including the conditions that, all the standard conditions that are always applying, plus all compliance with the technical engineering memoranda and relocation of the shed, so that it's conforming on proposed lot 1.01. And I think that was it.
Right, it's all contingent on all these things being included, correct? Claire, could we do a roll call on this?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time again, and have a great
Um,
holiday, everyone.
Yeah, you too. Congratulations. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, have a nice holiday, everybody.
All right.
Okay.